Good morning, Bonneville County. You have just joined breakfast with Idaho State Senator Kevin Cook. I am Senator. I represent District 32, or District 30 as it was. It is now District 32. And I am live on Facebook. I try to do this every Saturday. Basically try to tell you what's going on and hopefully get a feel for what are the issues that you face as a businessman, as a person, or an employee or an employer. What are some of the issues that you're facing? Also during the campaign season, I'm trying to tell you about myself and let you get to know me so that you'll hopefully vote for me on the 17th. So currently I serve on the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee. That's the committee that sets the budget for the state of Idaho. I also serve on the Senate Education Committee, the State Group Insurance Advisory Committee, the Idaho Technology Authority Committee, which I love, being a computer geek and a software engineer, Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education Committee. So that's the higher education, our colleges and our universities, and that one's a lot of fun. Basically, if you have any questions whatsoever or comments or thoughts, feel free to post them and we'll try to answer them live here. Or you can text me, email, message me, whatever works for you, and I will try to get back with you and let you know what's going on and try to answer your questions. Okay, so here's some important dates that you need to be looking at. First of all, there are only 10 days left before we go to the polls to vote, and all of these campaign signs that are littered our highways and streets will be picked up and removed, and you'll get your TV and radio ads back to normal. Anyway, some dates for you. The last date to pre-register to vote was April 22nd. So if you haven't registered yet, you're too late to pre-register. Now that doesn't mean you can't register, but you'll have to register at the polling station when you go to vote. Okay, that's when you'll have to register. Last day to request your mail-in or your absentee ballot, that's too late. You missed that. That was Friday. Friday was your last day that you could request a mail-in absentee ballot. And so you can't do that any longer. But if you have one, get it mailed. I would strongly suggest that you mail it in today, fill it out, and get it mailed in. And the important thing is on the back of that envelope, there's a place for your signature. Make sure you fill that signature out, because if you don't, it's null and void. Okay? All right. Last day for early voting. You still got time for that. That doesn't close until May 13th, which is next Friday. So this coming Friday is the last day that you can go in and vote early. So what is voting early? Basically, you're going into a voting booth like you would at your polling station, but you don't have necessarily the big long lines. You don't go to your polling station though, you'll go into the Bonneville County Elections Office, and it's located at 825 Shoup Avenue. It's across from the Motor Vehicles and Drivers License Building. But there you can go in until Friday at 5 p.m. and you can go cast your vote. All right, the big date, Tuesday, May 17th. That is a primary again. This is our primary. This is the date. You have to go into your polling station on this date. So there's two ways to get there. Well, let's see. If you don't know what your polling station is, let me tell you a way you can figure it out. First, you can go to www.kevincookforidaho.com. That's kevincookforidaho.com. You can go there and there's voting information button. Then you can click on that and you'll go to another page that will show you where you can go figure out your polling station, where you need to go, the address. And some of those have changed. For instance, mine has changed. I used to go up to the country club to cast my vote, but it's now at the 4-H extension offices, which is a beautiful big new buildings out here by us, and boy does it get used. It's wonderful to see a new building like this get used as much as it does. Okay, so anyway, that's where you need to go figure out where your polling station is and go vote. I really, really encourage you to vote. There are some big differences in this election, extreme differences where people are at and what they believe in, and how they're going to face some of the issues, and how they will represent you. And so I'd encourage you to go do that. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can call the Bonneville Elections Office, and it is 208-529-1363. Okay? All right. Well, campaign season is in hyperspeed. Wednesday night, we had a huge outing, an event. It was hosted by the Burton Shaw Farms in this great, humongous building. It seemed like it was about the size of a football field. Great big old John Deere tractors and combines were inside. I was in seventh heaven. It was awesome seeing all that stuff. But there we got to hear from many of our statewide candidates. They were in attendance. So we heard from Governor Little, Scott Bedke, who is running for Lieutenant Governor. We heard from Phil McGrange, who is running for Secretary of State. Mr. Wasden was there, who is running for the Attorney General. And then, of course, we had state senators and state representatives, candidates from District 32, 33, 35. So 32, that's the one that I'm in, okay? That's the donut. It's not the donut hole, that's the donut. So the outer ends of Bonneville County, Ammon, and the outskirts of Idaho Falls. District 33 is the donut hole. That's downtown city of Idaho Falls. 35 is part of Bonneville County, but it goes from Teutonia all the way down to Bear Lake. It's humongous, okay? And then we had Jefferson County. I don't remember the district number on that, but we had Van Burtenshaw, we had Britt Raybould, I believe was there, and we also had, oh heavens, I'm leaving somebody out on, Van Burtenshaw, I think I said that one though. Oh, and Furnace, Representative Furnace. So anyway, it was a great event. Heard food was awesome. The talks, the spiel, the short speeches, and they were very short, but they were spot on. And we had approximately 200 people there, so it was a great event. Yesterday morning, I went and read with a bunch of first graders, and it was an awesome experience. Very impressed with the kids, with the class, the teacher. As I walked into this class, you could have heard a pin drop. That's how quiet they were. And the kids were studying. The teacher was on the other side of the room, knelt down by a student and helping them. And the principal is the one that escorted me to the class. As soon as I got there, she left me and went over and helped another student that was struggling. So it was really cool to see a principal that knows the students, that's involved, and can sit down and help as well. Anyway, the teacher gave me 2 students, and I was able to go and read with them. And man, they are good readers. I know I never read that good when I was a first grader. After that, she gave me 2 other kids, and again, we sat down and read, and then I had the wonderful opportunity of reading them a book about Halloween. They chose it, not me. We chose it. They chose it, and we were able to read it to the whole class, and had some screams and fun with them, and that was exciting. Very, very impressed with what our kids are learning, though, in first grade and their reading skills. After that, I was able to go and visit with the principal. As I was headed back out, the principal was there, and so I stopped and visited with her and basically asked, how are our teachers doing? What are our vacancies? What's the faculty and the staff? And how overall, what are the kids doing? It was kind of a somber moment. She said, I can't remember how many, but I think there was 5 vacancies that she was going to have to fill for teachers. She talked about the kids coming to school with inadequate clothing and shoes and hungry, so they feed them breakfast there, they feed them lunch there. And then often they send food home with them for the weekend. And these are first graders, so these are 5-year-olds, 5 and 6-year-olds. And so my heart kind of goes out to them to think that we've got little kids here in Idaho Falls, in Ammon, Bonneville County, that are going hungry. So I asked the question, well, who fills this food pantry? Where do you get the food from to help these kids? And she said, well, I get them different places, but one place, the teachers bring in food, in canned foods, and help to supply the food pantry. And so it's just like, wow, we need to help our own here. We need to help our own somehow. Anyway, our teachers are not perfect, but I'll tell you what, the ones that I have worked with so far, they are amazing. They do a great job. They love the kids, and they are teaching them good, solid skills. And this first grader was no different, the teacher. From there, I went to my 8th grade teachers, students that I always go read with, and had a great time there. I stayed there for 2 hours and got to read with them. And so that was my morning. And then Friday afternoon, though, I went out and knocked on doors. I went from door to door to door, talking and handing out literature, talking about what I stand for, who I am, and what are the issues, and pleading and begging for their vote, that they would give me their vote. I walked, my Fitbit went crazy. I had about 15,000 steps, over 15,000 steps. And so it was a good day. I put out a bunch of signs and handed out literature. But it was interesting. One gentleman that I knocked on his door and he answered, and I gave him my spiel, who I was and what I was doing. And he thought for a minute and he says, "So you're an incumbent?" And I said, "Yes, I was just finishing my first term. I've been there for 2 years." And he says, "Well, then tell me what you've done with those 2 years. Why should I vote for you? Did you stand up to the promises and things you said you were going to do? And if not, why not?" And I thought, whoa, those are some great questions. And so I thought about that, and I kind of hum-hawed around and gave him the spiel of the things that I knew that I had done. And so I want to tell you that here today. And hopefully it sounds a little better than what I did to this guy, trying to think on my feet. But I told him, as a member of the Financial Appropriations Committee, the guy that sets the budget, I worked really hard to make sure that our government used its money wisely, that your money, your taxes, and if there was too much, that we would give it back. And so I supported House Bill 436, which provided $350 million of tax relief through a one-time tax rebate that you'll see this spring, and then $251 million on ongoing tax relief beginning in July. We are on track to return more than $1 billion of income tax relief to Idaho taxpayers over the next 5 years. So you got to think, our national debt, for the first time in history, now exceeds $30 trillion. Meanwhile, here in Idaho, we have a record budget surplus of $1.9 billion. I worked hard to support tax relief. I worked hard to keep our government fiscal and responsibility. I oversaw 20 different budgets that I was assigned to look at, and I dug down into them and looked with them. I visited with agents and the LSO to figure out, is this just slush? Are these requirements? Do we really need that much money? If not, how do we cut it back? What do we do? And so I felt good with what I did in looking at those budgets. Education. As you know, I'm passionate about education. I ran on that I felt like that we needed to do more for our kids, that we needed to give them greater educational opportunities and help them so they're better prepared to enter the workforce, that they have the skills and the trainings that they need, or the skills and training that they need in order to go on to higher education, to college and universities. And I do not believe that college is for everyone. It's not, and I'm grateful for that. But here's what I did in education. So I worked hard to increase the public schools general fund, and we did that by approximately $300 million. That is the single largest increase in the state history, and with an 11% general fund increase over the previous year. Now, I believe in funding our schools appropriately. I do not believe in giving a blank check and say, go at it. I don't believe that. But I do believe that we need to work with our educators and figure out a way to improve our education here in Idaho. We gave Idaho teachers a 10% increase in pay, and that doesn't get them up to par to our neighboring states, nor with the inflation that just hit. So we're still not there, but we gave them a 10% increase in pay, and we gave a 7% increase in pay for our classified staff. We increased the state's ongoing health insurance premiums for approximately $4,000 per teacher and classified staff, which comes up to about over $105 million. So a lot of our teachers, where their husband was working, the teacher was working, and they were paying for their health insurance, at the end of the year, many of those teachers had to write a check back. And so they earned negative money they had to pay back in order to take care of the health insurance. So that was huge. Now there's some holes in that health insurance. We thought we had it covered. It didn't, but it's a good step forward. And I think it's going to be something we'll work on the next couple of years to fill those holes. But it's certainly a step in the right direction. We provided $50 million for empowering parents and grants. This money is there to help those who are financially challenged. They need a little extra money. They can't afford it. And so this money is there for them as students and parents to work together with their education. Okay, this money can be used to purchase a computer if your child needs a computer to do homework or to get on and to look at to investigate, to do some research. This money could also be used for guitar lessons or trumpet lessons or things like that, athletics. And so it's there, whatever it is, to help educate your child. It's there to help you. You have to apply for it, and so you apply for it through the Idaho State School Board. But it's there for you, and I'd say take advantage of it. We did this last year, and if I remember right, we helped 18,000 families across Idaho with this fund. And so take advantage of it, use it. We invested $10 million in career technical education, encouraging school districts to stand up CTE groups and programs that meet local industry standards. So this is kind of big for me. As I've told you before, I've read with 8th graders for 7-8 years now. And every semester, there's at least one kid that's, I ask them, what are your dreams? What do you want to do after high school? Well, every semester, there's at least one child that says, I'm done. I'm not doing anything. I am not going to go on to high school. I'm dropping out. And I tell you, wow, that's sad. And the reason why is because there's nothing here for me. I don't see any future for me here. Well, this CTE, in my mind, in my belief, will solve that. If it's a young lady that says, you know what, they don't teach me how to do nails or beautician, I'm through with high school. Well, what if we had a CTE program where they could learn how to do nails and a beautician? And through that, they learned how to do math, okay? Math that applied to a beautician. Or a young man that says, all I want to do is auto body. I want to restore cars. I want to paint cars. Great. Go paint cars. Let's go do it. But when we're doing it, again, we teach them math. How much paint do you need for this car? And so we teach them math that is pertinent to the career that they want to do. And that's what CTE is all about. Okay, we have Antonio on here, who I helped coach soccer for many, many years. And I remember, and this was like 12 years ago, 15 years ago, I remember asking him what was his dream. And he says, I want to be a chef. And he is a chef now and has his own restaurant. And I'm so excited for him. But these are things that kids could learn, all right? They could figure out at a high school level in 9th grade. And so in our 8th graders, we're trying to get a career course where you can go out and explore different careers and start working towards something like that. So the CTE, I think, is huge. Dyslexia, we were the last state in the union to recognize dyslexia. And so we passed a bill that we recognize it, and we give training to our teachers with the idea of catching these kids early that have dyslexia so we can resolve it early. Science says the earlier you catch it and work with it, the better off they are down the road. We continue to support dual credit. There are many students in high school that are graduating with their associate's degree. Okay? Again, it's not for everybody, but it's there. There's money there for kids to use that to go and dual credit. No cost to you as parents. So your kid could have 2 years of college done by this time they leave high school, if that's something they want to do, at no cost. And so we supported that. We also put a program in place to help our rural teachers. We're having trouble getting teachers to go teach in rural Idaho. I don't understand that because I'm a farm boy. I would love to be in rural Idaho. But so this program is okay, if you'll go teach in rural Idaho, we'll help pay for your loans, or we will help pay for some of your continuous education for up to 5 years. We're thinking that once you're in rural Idaho for 5 years, you'll stay. And so we're willing to help you with some of the continuous education finances, or if you want to go online and get another degree or whatever, or pay back your education loans, we'll help you over the course of 5 years. And so if you stay for 5 years, we'll give you an incentive to stay. All right, something else that we helped do, the elections. We allocated $12 million for cyber response and defense fund. This was there to prepare and the ability to respond to any cybersecurity event or threat that may occur during our elections. So we want our elections to be secure. We don't want you to wonder, well, is it or is it not? I felt like that was important and went to bat on that. We allocated $500,000 for integrity audits. Okay, audits to be performed to help us be transparent and to make sure that, yeah, everything ran as it's supposed to. We have great county clerks across the state that take their job very, very serious, especially here in Bonneville County. If you know Penny Manning, she does an awesome job. Yeah, but these audits are just to help you feel warm and fuzzy that things are going well. We set aside $2 million to improve statewide information technology, again, to ensure our agency board meetings can be accessed online, okay, that we can make sure everything is running smooth. We want to be transparent, but we want to be secure, and that's important. All right, another thing I fought hard with was transportation. We addressed the needs of Idaho's deteriorating bridges and roads. We appropriated approximately $200 million, which will be split between the state for $120 million and local government for $80 million. And hopefully some of that will help local as well as state. We allocated another $200 million as a one-time investment package to improve our local bridges. We've got some pretty old bridges that are not safe. We allocated money for our airports. $6.4 million for airports, $8 million for our port, or I'm sorry, $8 million for railroads, $10 million for our ports, and pedestrian safety. So why? Because this is the infrastructure we need for our business to get their product to market. And so money was spent there. In agriculture, which is huge in Idaho, which is a huge player in our economy. And by the way, when I was at the event Wednesday, I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with Doug Berry, who is a huge farmer here in Southeast Idaho. He also is president of Bonneville County Farm Bureau. I believe that's what position he has, but I know he plays some kind of position there. But we visited about the drought. I asked him, what does this mean to farmers? Are they having to alter what they plant and how they're farming due to the drought? And he says, absolutely. He says they are. However, he says the rain that we have received this spring has been a huge blessing to us as farmers. But farmers are sitting aside, 1,000 acres here, 1,000 acres there, sitting aside and not planting it because they are fearful that there won't be enough water. So why go out and drill all of the barley seed into the ground if there's not going to be enough water for it? And so on that thought, then we allocated we wanted to help our farmers, which helps our economy, and as well as our natural resources. So we allocated over $850 million to improve the quantity and quality of our water throughout the state. And so, again, those are some of the things that I have done, that I have worked hard for as an Idaho State Senator. things that I believe I promised and ran on 2 years ago. And so I believe I have fulfilled those promises, fulfilled those things that I told you I wanted to run on and make a difference. And I will continue to work on those things. And hope that you will give me your vote come the 17th, or if you're doing a mail-in ballot, that you would give me your vote. I work hard. I want to know the reason why I do this every Saturday morning is to get the word out. Yes, it's true, I'm a senator and I go back and I represent you, but I don't have all the answers. I am not the expert on everything. You guys are. You know what you need and what issues you are facing as a father, as a mother, as a student, as a business owner, or as an employee. You know the things that you're facing, and that's what I need to hear so that we can make sure that we address those where appropriately at the right level of the government and make a difference. Thank you for joining me. It is Saturday. Saturdays are sacred to me. I like to be able to go out and get the honey-do list down, but I'll probably be out knocking door to door if it's not raining too hard, and who knows, maybe I'll run into you. But thank you. Again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, text me, email me, whatever works for you. Love to hear from you. Thank you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you.